Today, we give you our X-Men franchise ranking, a franchise that has definitely given us a lot of highs and lows, but a lot of memories nonetheless, and excited to go through this ranking. What the duck is up, everyone? Welcome back to Duck Takes. I'm Blake, and as always, with me, my co-host, Garrett.
Hey, guys.
And what are we ranking today, Garrett?
We are doing all X-Men movies, all 14 of them, whether good
14.
or bad. That's what we're doing.
There was more than I remembered. I thought there was going to be like 11 to rank. I'm like,
Nah, man.
I completely forgot about the New Mutants, which
Yeah,
I had to watch for the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get to that. I'm excited to get through this ranking. I think I'm pretty confident in my list.
Yeah. No, I'm honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like I just had to keep thinking more and more on some of these.
It's always the middle that's the toughest.
To be honest, I was kind of struggling towards the top. I'm not gonna lie, because there's like I like all of these movies.
Yeah.
I just like could not pick an order of which I wanted them, and you know, I finally just had to like come to a decision. So, you know, if somebody else has like a different list when it comes towards that top area, like I'm not gonna be mad. To be honest, I think I feel more strongly about my opinions like when we're at the bottom of this list.
True. Well, before we dive into this episode, let's do our first segment, our Ugly Duckling of the Week, which is a movie that we think is underrated or didn't get its due credits when it came out, either critically or box office. You said you wanted to do a
movie
TV
or show.
All right. We'll do a TV show for you today. I think it's storming outside.
It is definitely storming outside, but you know, we live in Florida. It's unavoidable.
All right, so what's your Ugly Duckling?
Shout out to my friend Berto. It's gonna be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
God damn it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I have met so many people, even Marvel fans, like diehard Marvel fans, that have not seen this show. And it is not talked about enough. And it's consistently good over many seasons. It held my interest for a long time. And I feel like it just does not get talked about enough.
Well, it gets talked about enough for me because you and Berto always talk about this damn show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially Berto.
Yeah, I know you're sick of hearing about it, but dude, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's great. I feel like I am the one person Berto can talk to about this show. All
right. My Ugly Duckling of the week is going to be 2000's Dinosaur.
The Disney
movie.
That's a throwback right there.
That's a throwback. Doesn't have the best critical ratings. It's very mid-tier. It's got like, I think 40%, something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. Average of 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd. We watched this. Did you watch this one a lot growing up too? Or was it just me?
I know we watched it together, but I think you may have watched it more because like I remember it, but not perfectly.
I watched it a lot, and I remember having like those toy dinosaur rubber hands.
Yeah, no, I remember those. Yeah,
Allosaur, or what are they called?
I can't remember, but it was literally like a T-Rex with the little horns. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Dinosaur, man. I fucking love that movie. Childhood classic right there. But all right. Let's start this list, all 14 of them. We're going to go one by one, starting from the bottom, work our way to the top. Now, I'm curious, what do you have in last place for your X-Men franchise ranking?
I do have the New Mutants.
You have New Mutants?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is obviously like the outlier of all these X-Men movies. It's like it is classified as a horror movie.
Is it?
Yes. Like I was on Disney and I was watching it, and when I clicked on it, it said like superhero horror, I think.
It wasn't scary at all.
Yeah, I know. It's not terrifying at all.
Huh.
So to be honest, I feel like even that makes me want to put this even lower. The fact that it tried to be a horror movie and it's not.
Did it try, or is that Disney just like trying to classify it because it's on Disney Plus?
I genuinely don't know, but either way, it doesn't bode well for this movie.
No.
I didn't feel a strong connection to any of these characters. Mm-hmm. We have Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who is the biggest bitch to our protagonist for absolutely no reason.
Terrible accents in this movie.
Yes. Oh my God, Maisie Williams, bro. I
mean, Maisie Williams.
But I mean,
the
like
one guy trying to give a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Fucking from Stranger Things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's honestly, and it's so disappointing too, because this had a all-star cast. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no,
like
it
they had
does.
great actors. You know, because I feel like all these people have been in other amazing projects.
Yes.
You have Anya Taylor-Joy,
She's
Maisie Williams.
amazing.
She's amazing. I can't. What's Jonathan Byers' real name? I can't remember.
Charlie Heaton.
Yeah, Charlie Heaton.
Charlie Heaton.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But you know, you do just have we had like a lot of great actors, and it's so disappointing when you just cannot put it together.
Okay. Number 14 for me, I have Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix. Interesting. You liked New Mutants better, huh?
Honestly, this was probably the toughest of the ranking, was just deciding what's going to be last.
Really?
Yeah, really. Dark Phoenix just felt so unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
Like after Apocalypse, I'm like, okay, I get it's like Jean Grey is a very popular character.
Yeah.
I get that. And I get it would have been cool to see more of her character and her powers, especially like in a live action movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how people feel on the Jean Grey representation from the original X-Men trilogy.
I mean, I know for a fact it got heavy criticism.
Okay.
Maybe
It
not
was pretty mixed.
not necessarily for Jean Grey, but for their representation of the Phoenix.
Okay.
That was what, because like the Phoenix is literally supposed to be like this giant. Like it's fire.
Yes.
And we never see that. And I feel like we never even really see that with Dark Phoenix either. It's like it was just more like cosmic radiation that was like coming out of her.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's so I feel like people are just like, bro, just make it fire. Like why is she making people disintegrate? Like just make it fire.
I thought the villain was probably the most forgettable villain.
Oh my god.
In this whole entire franchise.
We learned like practically nothing about them.
Yeah.
Like I literally don't know. I don't think we learned their name ever.
With a fantastic actress as well, and Jessica Chastain.
No, I know.
Crazy.
I know. And we don't even learn what the name of the alien species was. I looked that up because I was like, is this the fucking Skrulls? Like
that's what I thought at first.
I was like, who is this? And it's not even them. It's not even them. So I
thought at first, I'm like, is this a Skrull invasion or something?
Yeah.
I just very useless. I mean, literally the saving grace of this movie is any scene that Michael Fassbender's Magneto is in. And I mean, that's how it feels for Apocalypse as well. Is like, if you got Michael Fassbender's Magneto in a scene, he's going to be doing his damn best to give you something.
Yeah. No, Michael Fassbender and Nicholas Hoult to me were the
Yeah,
two saving.
he was great.
I liked Nicholas Hoult. Also, I will say the Beast makeup. I loved how they did the Beast makeup.
It got
in
a
this.
lot better from First Class.
Yes,
the progression of his makeup was a lot better.
It's gotten a lot better. But I will say a downgrade in makeup for Dark Phoenix was Mystique. I was looking at her. I'm like, why is her hair looks like plastic?
So, and I remember there was a point too, because didn't they use makeup all over her body for First Class, and then it caused like skin irritation for her?
I don't know about that, but I think it was just the fact that it was such a lengthy process, and she had to do that every single day.
And they turned it into a suit for Days of Future Past and on forth.
I want to say so. Yeah, I think they did come up with an easier process, but Days of Future Past, I didn't have a problem either.
No,
and
it looked good.
But when I look at Dark Phoenix, I'm like, what is this? It looked very fake to me. And her hair was so bright red, it was like screaming at you. But honestly, that's nitpicking. But yeah, needless to say, there is not a lot of saving grace when it comes to Dark Phoenix.
No. Just felt like a very forced movie, and you don't get any sense of direction of where they want to go with it as well.
No.
So that's why it's dead last for me. So now moving on to number 13.
Yeah, I do have Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Like, I don't think we need to elaborate on it anymore, but I can, like, now that you talk about it, like, I can understand your perspective of why you would put Dark Phoenix under New Mutants, because at least New Mutants did have like a direction. Right. I feel like they knew what they were trying to do. It just didn't work out. Versus Dark Phoenix seemed like a direction nightmare. I feel like Dark Phoenix did have some cool visuals though.
What, like, you mean the space scene in particular?
Not the space scene.
Well, Magneto.
Yeah, like Magneto. Yes,
train.
Magneto on the train is like mainly what I'm thinking of. So I don't know. I think between the performances and the visuals, like, there were some fight scenes where I was like, oh, that was cool.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I put that over New Mutants.
and Beast having like a sort of a arc there, or having development within his emotions that
Yes.
you usually wouldn't see from Beast.
We didn't see that out of Beast.
Yeah.
I thought while I did love Michael Fassbender. I think his switch up was pretty damn quick.
It tends to always be.
Yeah, like he seemed pretty damn quick with the switch up where he was like, she's a dead woman, and then he was like, oh, okay, it's not her, it's the Dark Phoenix.
Right.
I was like, I don't think he would see things black and white like that.
Yeah. And I think it's that way a little bit in Apocalypse as well.
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
So I loved it. Or I loved him at least. And one other cool thing I will say that came out of Dark Phoenix was Nightcrawler kind of going off for a second there.
He did.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So honestly, it was like more the action sequences that made me like this one a little bit more, but
story's super bland.
Story is atrocious.
Number 13 for me, I have The New Mutants.
Yeah.
I did think it had a little more direction than Dark Phoenix. I don't really care for any of the characters, which is unfortunate because I find some of them at least like interesting.
Yeah.
You have a great ensemble of actors, especially with Anya Taylor-Joy.
So disappointing.
What's Arya Stark's name?
Maisie Williams.
Yeah, Maisie Williams. So you have some great actors in there. And I did appreciate also them trying to connect the previous years before the events of Logan and Essex, that company. But at points, I did feel like I was watching a TV show between the action sequences, the visual effects.
Yeah.
It just, I feel like it's a movie that just got lost in space. Like, I don't even remember this movie hitting theaters or if it was straight to streaming because it did come out in 2020.
Dude, I think I mistakenly remembered it as a TV show, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah. Like I thought it was a show, not a movie.
No, because our friend Berto brought that up. He's like, oh, you got to watch New Mutants. I was like, oh, I thought that was a TV show.
Yeah.
And I think it did come out. I think it did hit straight to streaming because of the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. So again, a very forgettable movie. And I'm like, is it just this one lady in this whole entire place watching after these kids?
Yeah.
Just
I know. Just one person. This one person is going to keep all these crazy mutants in check.
I mean, her powers were dope.
They were cool.
They were good powers.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
I mean, especially for what her purpose was to, to keep these kids in check. Like, yeah, it's a pretty good power to have.
But I'm like, damn, one person?
Yeah.
In this whole place?
Uh-huh.
So I thought you had stuff there. Like, I thought you could have had some good relationships there. Just wasn't executed that great.
No.
All right. Number 12.
Do you want to say your number 12?
Yeah, I'll say it. All right. Number 12 for me, I have X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
Okay. So X-Men Apocalypse has some fantastic scenes.
Uh-huh.
But it just can't hold this movie together.
Mm-hmm.
It is very stretched out. I think it is the longest out of that X-Men First Class quadruple trilogy, whatever.
Yeah.
Between First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix. I think Apocalypse is the longest one.
It is a long movie.
A huge villain in the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
And again, you have a great actor in Oscar Isaac, but
that was not the role for him.
It just wasn't there. I don't know. It just,
honestly, if anything, I feel like Apocalypse should have been like a CGI character. Just because, dude, he is supposed to be like huge and intimidating. And that is not.
Well, he was in that one scene in Charles' head.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Right.
Like, and that wasn't even like, no. And I'm talking about huge as in like he's strong.
Okay.
Like it's not just him getting large.
The execution wasn't there. I just don't think the great scenes in it can hold it together. Again, the best part of this movie, Michael Fassbender, Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's a saving grace in a lot of bad X-Men movies. He never gives a bad performance.
I mean, the pain that this man goes through in these movies,
for real,
and the
dude, they always be fucking with Magneto. Oh my God. I swear.
And his delivery, of this pain is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a great scene with Quicksilver in this one.
Yeah,
I really enjoy his time to shine in that mansion scene. I think the Quicksilver scene in Apocalypse is better than the Days of Future Past one. Days of Future Past clearly the better movie, but that Apocalypse mansion scene is fantastic, showcasing his powers.
Yeah.
It was funny too. Great song choice. Yeah, I think it's just a over convoluted movie.
At number 12 for me, I have X-Men Last Stand.
Wow.
Yeah, I have it pretty low.
Okay. I mean, people do have that as the worst of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty low.
I mean, to be honest, bro, like I was watching it and there were just so many like corny one-liners and just lines about like somebody's powers, and it was just pissing me off because like, and I think that's what X2 did really well is like they were very like casual about it. And the one scene that I always go back to in my head is like when Wolverine went and grabbed a soda. He was about to take a sip and he's like, Iceman's right there.
Yes.
Hands it over. Not a word spoken. Not a word spoken. He just instinctively knew like, there you go.
Yeah.
Like
I see what you mean. If you throw in a line in that scene, it does make it a lot more cheesy.
It does.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what we got a lot in X-Men The Last Stand.
Okay.
Like one I always think of in particular is fucking Charles Xavier. He's like talking to Storm, I don't need to be psychic to see that something's bothering you. I was like, no shit. Like I don't know. It's just it was just like a lot of shit thrown in your face.
Okay.
And you know, Ian McKellen was like, it's always Magneto, bro. Ian McKellen was like the saving grace of that movie as well. And I feel like this movie just focused really heavily on the visuals and not the story. Okay. And yes, I think they did the Phoenix story dirty again. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they have attempted this twice and fucked it up twice. I don't think that story's ever going to get told on the big screen ever again.
It's got great animated telling of it.
Yeah, it does. And that just seems to be the case. But yeah, honestly, I think the cheesy one-liners just kind of like take me out of this movie. And I
feel like that's pretty common with 2000s era of superhero movies.
It is. But also just the unnecessary use of powers all the time. Like, I feel like they were just trying to show off their CGI capabilities at every fucking turn. Like the porcupine dude. Oh my God, did he bother me so much?
Oh, that's
dude. I don't care who it is.
It's my guy from Rush Hour.
I don't give a shit who it is, bro. But he would. I think it was Pyro. He was like, do you have any idea who you're talking to? And he steps up, shows his spikes. And he's like, do you? I'm like, you think that's fucking intimidating? That's intimidating to you. I don't know. It was just stupid use of powers. I did not like it. Did my girl Mystique dirty. Like, and I don't think I think that was so out of my character for Magneto, by the way. My God.
Just instantly
later, thanks for the last 20 years of your life. What? No. Magneto is way more loyal than that.
To Mystique?
Yeah, to anybody. To anybody who is stuck by his side. That was so fucked up. Like, honestly, I feel like he would have done something to try and restore her powers, like take her with them, because obviously it's still in her DNA. Like the genetics are still there. Like she's still a mutant. You know, I feel like he would have, taken her with them until they could figure out a way to bring her powers back. Cause I feel like he would have done that for his friend, especially with how loyal of a servant she's been over the years. That shit was so out of character. I was like, that is bullshit. So I don't know. Like, yeah. And Jean, I'm not gonna lie, I've never loved the Logan Jean relationship, and that's obviously even stronger in this. They did Cyclops dirty, they did Charles dirty.
Yeah, Cyclops was in this movie for like one scene.
The first to get nicked. That man never had a time to shine, and it pissed me off so much, especially now that I've seen X-Men 97, and I just know what kind of potential he has too. It just makes me that much more mad. So yeah, I got no love for X-Men Last Stand.
Okay. And that was number 12 for you?
That was number 12.
Okay. Number 11, what do you have?
I do have Apocalypse.
Okay.
So Apocalypse to me, the story is again like one of the weak parts, but I do like Oscar Isaac's performance. Like he wasn't perfect for Apocalypse, but it's Oscar Isaac. Like he's never going to give a bad performance.
That's true.
And not to mention the freaking Quicksilver scene.
I don't know though. I think it was a bad performance.
Was it?
I think so.
To be honest, I'm not going to lie. That's one of the ones I was not able to rewatch before this, and it's been a minute. But
after rewatching it, I just didn't really feel anything there. I get that Apocalypse is supposed to be like this
Stoic,
immortal, godlike creature.
Yeah. So he's not going to really show those human emotions.
Right. But it did just offer a really stale performance in that sense.
Saving graces on this one, definitely going to be Michael Fassbender's performance. Like you said, they will not give this man a fucking break.
No.
Quicksilver scene, I think, is an improvement even on Days of Future Past. And that already set the bar very high. So that one was really cool. I liked the fight scene at the end. Like, I didn't have a problem with it as well. Like, again, this is where like the visuals more come into play for me rather than the story itself.
Seems like each more they carry on through, they definitely tend to focus more on the visuals and showcasing their powers. I thought it was cool that Magneto was able to focus his powers on not just what he could see, but like the metal compounds and within the ground as well.
Yeah.
It's really dope. Like, that man was Omega level in that.
And I'm not gonna lie, even though it was a very short scene, I did like the recruiting scene where they got Angel and he turned him into Archangel. I thought that was pretty cool, where like he gave him the metal wings and everything. I don't know. I like that. I like that part. But yeah, there's not much to love here.
To be honest, I was so pissed when they were recruiting Magneto and Magneto was about to go ham on his workers.
I know, and he just killed everybody.
And then Apocalypse comes in and just sinks them in the ground and shit. I'm like, well, that was wasteful of a scene. That could have been really dope.
It was very anticlimactic. Yeah, dude. He was.
I want to see Magneto.
He was ready to take off,
ham,
bro.
Yeah,
he was ready to take off. All because he saved somebody's life too. Like, what the fuck? I swear.
You know what? Magneto is not a villain, man.
He's so not. He has had every right to do everything that he has done.
Yeah.
Like, my God, he survived the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And he finally moved on. He started a family. He was happy. And he made the mistake of saving somebody's life. And they turn him in. And oh my God. Give the man a fucking break.
Most understood man in Marvel history. Most misunderstood man in Marvel history. I'm on number 11.
You're on number 11.
Yeah.
What is your number 11?
My number 11 is X-Men Last Stand.
Oh, okay. Honestly, we're just flip-flopping here. Like,
yeah,
it's really a matter of just what you like in these movies. So,
I think what I did like is in this one is that their powers were definitely showcased a lot more than the first two.
Yeah.
And the visuals were pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have Magneto carrying the goddamn Golden Gate Bridge.
I will say that is a pretty cool spectacle from X-Men Last Stand.
So I think X-Men Last Stand did have some cool spectacles, but the story is definitely lacking here.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel rushed. It is a conclusion to this original trilogy, but it's the shortest movie at like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it really
needed so much more time.
It doesn't leave much time for you to really get a lot of great character moments, connect with the characters, Cyclops, get them out of here first scene
literally. And also like freaking Rogue, like she was like our main, she was like one of our main people in the first two, and she barely had screen time this entire time, and she went and just took the cure and got rid of her powers.
Because honestly, which
I understand, especially this version of Rogue.
Now that I think about it, it's not even so much the story that I didn't mind. Like, I didn't mind the premise, but it wasn't fleshed out enough.
No.
Like, I didn't mind that there was this one mutant that caused other mutants' powers to be obsolete when near them. I thought that's actually kind of interesting.
No, it is an interesting power.
But it just wasn't fleshed out enough, and then you had the whole thing.
Honestly, I feel like they should have gave more character to that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like what kind of position they're put in by having this ability.
Because I think it does leave for some interesting decisions that our character's going to have to make with this mutant, because there are mutants that either don't want to be a mutant anymore or are trying to protect themselves and other mutants. So it does leave for some interesting character decisions. But yeah, it just wasn't fleshed out enough. And yeah, I mean, the whole Jean Logan thing is definitely turned up a notch in this one as well. Which, I mean, that's Jean's, I guess Phoenix side coming out to her.
Yeah.
Like lashing
out. No, it is.
And,
like the one that was like making out with Logan and was like DTF.
Yeah.
That was Phoenix coming out.
Yeah.
But
it's all right. I think I did just like the action sequences in this.
All right.
Number 10, what you got?
At number 10, I have X-Men Origins.
So do I. Honestly, bro, like, yeah, it's bad, but
it doesn't do any justice to the comics at all, especially with how they did Deadpool. But there are some enjoyable action sequences in this movie, and it's just like Wolverine being the main focus. I don't know, you got Hugh Jackman just being his regular charismatic self. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like 10 is just the perfect spot for this movie.
I think so. And I think I might have a little more of a soft spot for this movie because it was the very first X-Men movie I watched.
Yes.
I think I was 12 when this came out. So yeah.
It's got some good humor in there too.
There's a few scenes in there that I just really have a great time with. The boxing scene with him and Blob, and Kevin Durant is funny as hell as Blob.
And bro, Liev Schreiber.
I like his Sabretooth.
I love his Sabretooth. His version is my favorite version of Sabretooth.
I think his Sabretooth is 100% better than the original Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the rapport between him and Logan was great.
It was really good.
Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy.
Like he just felt like a lot more of a threat.
Yeah.
Than the other Sabretooth.
Yeah, no, honestly, the Sabretooth in the original trilogy just seemed like a goof.
And Deadpool and Wolverine amplified that even more with Wolverine just one swoop of the claws through his neck.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Durant as Blob was great. Deadpool was done dirty as hell.
Yeah.
But Deadpool's banter and the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was Deadpool, bro.
That was Deadpool. It didn't look like Deadpool, but that was Deadpool.
Literally, I would say that's the same exact kind of attitude and acting that we get from Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool movies that we do know and love.
Right. And we get a great showcase of his
and him
as well,
and him with the swords. Yeah. And they even made fun of that in Deadpool 2.
Did they? What they say?
Yeah, with him cutting the bullets in half, and then Cable was shooting at him, and he was like, "Your bullets are really fast." Actually, they showed it in the trailer. That may have been what he said in the trailer. They may have changed it in the movie.
He just stares and he goes, "Ow."
Yeah, I can't remember, but honestly, I thought the line that in the trailer was funnier
because they show the first one where they
he actually gets it, but then it's just too many.
Yeah. No, there are some interesting scenes, and we actually get to see the transformation of, Logan getting his adamantium in him.
Yes. No, I liked seeing that.
So, yeah, I mean, I got a good time with this movie.
I have a good time with X-Men Origins.
I
don't watch it, and I watch it, and I don't cringe at anything, honestly. Right. I just obviously when I see Deadpool, I'm like, wow, that looks awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, it's just. You got some good times going on. And also, I thought it's a really small part of it, but I love Wolverine's interactions with that old couple that he meets on the barn. Very wholesome scenes.
Very wholesome.
I don't know. Just seemed like a good dude knows that Logan just needed a fucking break.
I mean, yes, Gambit was also taken as a joke.
Yes.
We'll say John Carter. So there's a lot of things that this movie deteriorated from and made some bad decisions with. But humor wise, it's not as cringe as some of the other humor in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
And also I feel the story itself isn't bad either. It's Sabretooth, getting revenge on everybody who was a part of their original task force.
Right.
So within the movie itself, it makes sense. It's not like it's a weak story. It just doesn't fall accurate to the comics, which really pissed people off.
And getting a little bit of that backstory of, what has Wolverine been doing these last 200 years? He was in all those wars and everything. So
and they even did change, they're not brothers. Sabretooth and Wolverine are not brothers. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
But nah, I enjoy X-Men Origins. I thought it was a fun movie, just, not what people wanted.
It's not a good movie. Maybe we could just call it our guilty pleasure then.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. X-Men Origins at number 10, baby. Let's get it. Number 9. What do you have?
At number 9, I have the Wolverine.
Okay.
So the Wolverine, now this is one where I think the action sequences are great. I think that is the strongest part of this. Story's not bad either, but I did not feel a huge connection between Wolverine and our and the main love interest, like that part definitely fell flat for me.
It was forced.
It was definitely forced, but I did love getting to see those flashbacks of Wolverine during World War II. And oh my God, like just the display of his healing factor, that part was really cool. I think this is another movie where like the villain falls flat as well.
Yeah.
Didn't really, I mean, it seemed predictable. I was like, I don't know.
From what I'm picking up from you, it sounds like it's a movie that really doesn't do anything bad, but doesn't have a whole lot that does anything great.
No, yeah, that's basically where I'm going with it. And honestly, it did kind of, while the action sequences are cool, it did kind of piss me off that like this is Wolverine and his whole thing is his healing factor, and he doesn't even have that the whole time. Yeah. And also, I think they failed to neglect they failed to address the fact that his healing factor is the only reason why his fucking hands close back up when his claws come out.
Right.
Am I remembering this incorrectly?
So,
did he like wrap up his hands or
in Logan he did? Because his healing factor was deteriorating.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they don't ever do that in this, do they?
No.
I was like, bro.
Yeah.
His claws are cutting him every time he uses them.
Yeah. A little bit of plot hole there.
So I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I still enjoyed it, but that part did bother me.
Yeah, I can understand that because cutting through his damn skin.
Yeah, it's cutting through his skin every time. It's the only reason he's able to use his claws is because of his healing factor.
So they do address that in Logan though.
No, Logan. I mean, that's Logan. Like, what do you have at number 9?
Number 9 for me, I have the original X-Men.
Really?
Yeah. I just think, it kind of is a product of its time. Like, again, I can appreciate what this movie did for the genre overall. Before this movie, all you had was like Blade.
Yeah.
And this came out before the original Spider-Man. So,
yeah,
Blade and X-Men did, crawl so Spider-Man could walk in terms of putting superhero movies on the big screen and taking them serious. But there's definitely a very noticeable visual effects in this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So I can appreciate also like the themes that this original X-Men trilogy really brought to the foreground as well. Just like coming out as a mutant. Like there's clear themes there of like people like being them true selves, whether you're coming out with your sexuality and whatnot, especially in like X2 or X3 maybe.
No, X2 is where they cover that the most with like Bobby and his family.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's some great themes in the original X-Men trilogy that are the foreground of it. But also one thing that pissed me off rewatching this movie, Toad was a fucking problem for Storm.
Yeah,
Wolverine.
No, that bugged the
Cyclops.
That bugged the shit out of me. I was like, dude, Toad is the butt of every joke in every X-Men iteration. And he's causing problems for Storm.
Like, why is Toad such a problem in this battle right now?
Should not have been.
No.
Bro, Storm's Omega, bro. People literally worship her in Africa as a fucking goddess.
Yeah. So
and she's having problems with Toad.
So I thought that was silly.
It was silly.
And I wasn't a fan of...
And he almost suffocated Jean to death. I was like, I was like, what?
Yeah, what the hell? I also just wasn't a fan of like Magneto's motive in general.
Yeah. Make everybody a mutant and
Yeah. So again, can appreciate its introduction for the X-Men to the big screen, live action. But not my favorite. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
At number 8, I have the Wolverine.
You have the Wolverine?
I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I think a movie that didn't really, like I said earlier, didn't do anything extremely bad, but didn't have too many amazing qualities.
Yeah.
The action sequences were great. I think this is like the most we see how powerful Wolverine actually is within his healing factor, aside from the scenes where he does have his healing factors taken away. But once he gets them back, it's pretty crazy.
No, when he gets them back,
Yeah.
We get some badass scenes.
We do. Most shredded Hugh Jackman we see.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we
Jesus.
can all agree this is the best he looked for a movie.
I don't think this is the biggest he looked.
But he's the most shredded.
It's the most shredded, but I think he looks the biggest in Days of Future Past.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. He looks the biggest.
He was yoked in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Fucking yoked. Again, like what makes these action sequences really great as well is just the Japanese samurai combat with the katanas and all that. So
no, honestly, bro, Wolverine has like a huge history with that too. So I'm glad we finally got a movie that like addressed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Forced love story, agree on that part. Didn't really feel any connection there, especially the whole time he's like having these dreams of Jean, and she's like, and
the Jean dreams were.
He's having the Jean dreams, and then having this love interest, and she's also married. Now I get that husband's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but it is very rooted in like Japanese culture of respecting that. So I'm surprised that she did do that. Yeah. But overall, a good time. Yeah. I like the Wolverine.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Number 8 for you.
X-Men. The original X-Men. No, I was laughing because our list is literally the same, just flip-flopped. We've only had one matchup.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
I did. Yeah. But yeah, it's literally just flipped up.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said on X-Men. It was definitely learning while, they were learning what worked and what didn't. And the Toad thing pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
Also, I do think it's very sloppy for Magneto to have a device that he didn't know kills people, and he was about to unleash it on everybody.
On the world. Okay.
Yeah, like that part bothered me. I feel like this is Magneto we're talking about. He's he's not dumb. He's not a dumb guy by any means. I mean, we all know Charles Xavier's brilliance, and he regularly plays chess with him, and like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should. I
love how that's a running thing.
I know. I like that. I like that too, and I think they show that just to show that he's pretty much on the same intelligence level as Charles Xavier. So yeah, it just seemed very sloppy for him to be like, oh well, it worked perfect. Let's unleash it on all these people. Okay. So, but yeah. Sabretooth wasn't my favorite, but it was a great introduction to the franchise. I will say that.
All right, so we are halfway through this list. Let's take a little break for our second segment, new segment that we got called Garrett's Corner. Where Garrett,
I didn't pick the name.
Where Garrett shares with us what grinds his gears. You know how much Garrett loves to complain, so this can be his therapy.
All right.
You have something that grinds your gears for us?
I do. So this is something I dealt with recently, but bro, it drives me nuts with how some people watch shows and movies.
Okay.
It drives me absolutely nuts. And what I'm talking about in particular is like when they are purposely distracting themselves, whether it be with chores, whether it be with their phone, whether it be just like not even looking at the screen, just like thinking about some dumb crap. And I'm like, you are missing critical exposition here, as Deadpool would say. And then moments later, they're asking questions. I'm like, if you would have fucking watched it, you would know. You would know.
I knew this was going to be a good segment.
Like, okay, if you want something in the background to keep yourself entertained while you are multitasking, whatever,
put on
that's
a sitcom.
Fine. Put on a sitcom. Put on something you've seen before.
Put on SpongeBob.
Something that's not super important if you miss a detail.
Right.
But bro, how you gonna put on like fucking House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones or The Boys? How you gonna put that on in the background and expect to keep up with it? Like you're not gonna know what's happening.
It's just not gonna work out.
It's really not. Drives me nuts.
I feel like a lot of boomers will do that too. I don't know if there are any boomers listening, but
people our generation do that shit.
I think people our generation,
on their phones, man. On their phones.
On their phones.
And especially if it's something that I want, that it's something that I really love and I want to show you something because I really like it, and you start distracting yourself with your phone, I'm gonna be like, fuck you, we're never watching anything together ever again.
I think that's why I just really enjoy watching TV shows and movies by myself, is because I know
distractions.
There's no distractions, and all it needs to impress is me. Like I if I love it, I don't have to worry about someone else loving it. Like it's just me. I know I'm gonna have a great time. I know I'm gonna love it. Or if it's something new.
Honestly, I'm learning that's what I love about the movie theater.
Yeah,
Because even at home, man, I remember one day I was really trying to watch some movies to prep for something that we were doing.
Yeah.
And I just got phone call after phone call after phone call.
I remember that.
And I was like, bro, I have been trying to get through this thing. And I think it was like over the course of 45 minutes, I had moved 5 minutes forward in this movie.
That's wild.
And I was done. I was like, enough fucking phone calls versus if I go to the movie theater, somebody tries to call you, you just text them at the movies. Yeah. They're like, oh, understood.
Or your phone's on Do Not Disturb.
Or it's on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. And they're like, understood. Not gonna get bothered by it. You're not a dick for not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Versus if you're at home and you text somebody and you're like, hey, I'm watching a movie right now. They're gonna be like, what, you can't take a break for a little bit? Like that. I feel like it's just a different mindset with how that goes. So yeah, fucking pay attention when you watch a movie.
All right. This is going to be a great segment. We're going to, like I said, this is going to be Garrett's therapy. And who doesn't love to listen to someone bitch about something? It is entertaining.
I'm really tempted to just open every single one. You know what really grinds my gears?
That'd be great. All right. Let's continue this ranking. We got 7 left. I feel like this is where it gets tricky.
Yeah. No, this gets tricky.
I feel like any of these could just flip-flop with each other.
For real.
It's like, what's the one thing that puts it over the other? It's so hard.
It is. Because I feel like a lot of them will have like strengths in one area where another one doesn't, but then, the weakness, it's just like, it's like yin and yang with some of these.
I feel like this X-Men franchise is there's a lot of ups and downs in it, which makes it hard to rank, you know, because I feel like there's only a handful where it's, okay, definitely the bottom and then definitely at the top.
Yeah.
That middle, it's like, all right, where do I put this? So number 7 for my X-Men franchise ranking, I have Deadpool 2.
So do I.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we can both talk about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, upon rewatch, it is a movie that I had a good time with. I know we were talking about this on our Deadpool Wolverine ranking. You know, it's the first 2 acts of these Deadpool movies that I think are the most enjoyable. Like, I thought the first 2 acts were the most enjoyable for Deadpool and Wolverine, as well as Deadpool 2. Story-wise, never the strongest for the Deadpool movies, but I did like the emotional beats in this movie still. Not necessarily with, like, the character of Russell himself, but with Deadpool wanting to do the right thing by him.
Yeah.
And, really feeling that pain from losing Vanessa. CGI, not that good.
Nah, CGI is not the best.
But it never really is for a Deadpool movie.
No, not for Deadpool. Weirdly.
Yeah. Maybe that's just on purpose to make it look more
cartoonish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or like,
maybe,
have that supernatural aspect to it. Not supernatural, or like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Deadpool 2, like, it's funny, but I feel like one of the biggest weaknesses with this one is also the amount of reused jokes.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of reused jokes from the first one where it's like, come on, man. Like, I get, like, just think of something else. Think of something. Be a little more creative. That always bothers me, especially with movie sequels, with comedy movie sequels where they reuse jokes. I'm like, come up with something fresh. Like, we love these characters, but we don't need to hear them say the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we did get some great characters in this one. Like, I love Josh Brolin as Cable. I thought that casting choice was absolutely perfect.
Not the most comic accurate Cable, but like,
I mean, pretty comic accurate.
He looked good.
No, he did look good.
He got shredded. He's like he was like 50 something. That was crazy. He had this come out and Infinity War, I think in like within a month of each other.
Yeah.
I think within like 3 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
Insane. So it is really funny, and I'm glad they did throw in a Thanos joke in there.
Did they? When did they throw that in?
It was before the final act, or before the final battle at the at that house, or the school. And Cable said something, and Deadpool goes, "Zip it, Thanos."
Oh yeah, I forgot he said that. I remember the Winter Soldier arm joke. I thought that part was funny.
Yep, the Winter Soldier joke. So there are some good jokes in there, and
yeah, story wise, I feel like. Actually, I don't know. Story-wise, Deadpool and Wolverine might have the weakest story.
I can agree with that.
But this one's not that strong either.
You're right. I really like Domino.
Domino was a
thought
great
she was
addition.
great.
Honestly, X-Force in general,
X-Force-
I thought was really funny and cool.
I thought the lead up to building the team
yeah,
and them
that part was great.
You
and
know.
then, but then they'll fucking
Yeah.
die.
them falling to their death, I
Yeah.
thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And had me so shocked when I first saw this movie.
The Brad Pitt cameo.
Yeah, the Brad Pitt cameo. Because I remember when I first saw this movie, they were in the trailers and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, X-Force.
X-Force.
Wait a minute, are they all done like that? So I thought that was pretty funny.
Go home, Sugar
Yeah.
Bear.
Peter was great.
Peter was funny.
I don't know about this Cable guy, but I guarantee you he hasn't killed as many people as Melanoma. So like there are some really good moments in Deadpool too.
There are, bro. I'm so glad they brought Peter back for the third one. He was great.
Oh shit! Am I getting catfished here? What are your superpowers? None. Saw the
Just
ad.
saw the
and-
ad. You're in.
What's his name? Dopender.
Dopender.
Fuck.
Dopender's funny too. So yeah, some great comedic moments, but weaker story. Just pretty weak CGI. Didn't really give a shit about Russell.
Yeah, or Juggernaut. Like Juggernaut was cool, but like Russell and Juggernaut team up.
Yeah.
Was anyone asking for that?
Nah.
No.
So good, but not great.
Right.
Moving on to number 6.
Number 6.
What do you have?
I have X2.
Okay.
Damn,
X2 that low, huh?
We're at the part of the list where it could really just go back and forth between a few.
I know, but
Look,
that's a little low in my opinion.
I know people regard X2 as one like the best X-Men movie.
I mean, I don't regard it as that,
I know
but-
you don't. I know we don't. I know a lot of people have it
But
regarded as one of the best sequels.
But upon rewatch, I will say my opinion of it is a lot higher than it used to
Really?
be.
Okay.
Because to be honest, like it had been so long since I watched the original trilogy. Like
Yes.
I really did need a rewatch of all those
Yeah.
movies. And X2, like I was like, okay, like I
Mhm.
see what people are talking about, why they love this movie.
Great opening scene.
Great opening scene, yeah.
The more interesting story.
Mhm.
The most interesting story of the original trilogy.
Yeah, no, honestly, like that was my favorite part. I felt
Yeah.
like there wasn't really anything that fell flat in X2. Because like I thought Stryker was a great villain.
Yeah.
We were finally getting a little bit of history with Wolverine and his his whole search to figure out what the hell happened to him. I thought Lady Deathstrike was cool, and her fight with Wolverine. I'll let you continue to talk about
Yeah,
it. This is your number 6. But
I know. Because like I know you're sitting here talking about it.
yeah,
and,
am I convincing you a little bit here?
Maybe. Because what I have above it, it could switch with that.
Yeah,
I think, like you said, it has a strong story.
yeah,
I just think there's also not that nostalgic factor there for me
okay.
because I didn't see this when it came out.
I mean, I wouldn't say that factor's there for me as well. 'Cause
Understandable, but I mean, I would definitely say it's there for a lot of people.
for a lot of people, yeah. Which is like when people say this is their number 1, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
nostalgia.
Right. So I think it's overrated in that regard because I know a lot of people put X2 on a pedestal. But I think, yeah, clearly is the strongest of the original trilogy.
Mhm.
I think the other ones I just personally enjoyed more. That's
like-
really what it boils down to.
All right. I mean, I just I thought it did a great job of setting up for the next movie, even though the next movie sucked.
All right.
But I thought it did a great job of that. Especially with like we see Pyro switch sides, and I thought the dynamic between Pyro and Bobby was great. Getting to see more of Rogue's character, even though honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like I do hate how dirty they do Rogue and like her powers.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give the girl. Like, I get like her whole thing. Like, she's not always as powerful as she is in X-Men '97. Because
other
yeah,
X-Men iterations.
Yeah. So like she's not always that powerful because obviously she had to steal those powers from somebody.
Yeah.
For her to be that strong. But I don't know. I thought her and Bobby had a really good chemistry together.
Uh-huh.
And I think we saw less of the corny jokes that we see in the original X-Men movie.
For sure. The one part that always kind of baffled me was how Charles sends Logan to confront his past. And he's literally
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the movie is literally where they end up at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I don't know. I just thought
I guess
that was.
Logan ain't a detective, bro.
I guess, but I thought
What, like the fact that he was there,
he was
and
literally
didn't-
there, and he came
didn't-
back, had no fucking idea,
and was empty-handed. Yeah,
empty hand, and I feel like it happened very quick too. I feel like that journey for him happened very quickly in the beginning,
yeah,
and I didn't get anything out of that.
yeah. No, I agree. That didn't really add much to the story.
Good
But,
movie.
I mean,
I think
Logan's never been praised for his intelligence.
That's
so.
true. I mean, from here on out though, these are enjoyable movies. All right, what's your number 6?
I might get some hate for this.
What is it?
Deadpool and Wolverine?
Why would you get hate for that?
I don't know. Whatever. I got Deadpool and Wolverine at number
Okay.
6. So, obviously, I really, really tried to not let recency bias affect my opinion, because I did love this movie and I had so much fun with it. But
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. Like the story is where this movie kind of falls apart. I
Yes.
feel like if you really wanted to, you could pick out plot holes here and there.
I feel like that's a lot of these X-Men movies though, where
Yeah.
the story is the weak part.
It is. But yeah, and like obviously this movie did so much fan service. We finally got to see comic book accurate Wolverine on screen with comic book accurate Deadpool. Him and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have great chemistry
Mhm.
together, because obviously they're like real friends in real life. So that definitely translated well on screen. With most of the serious acting performances being kind of saved by Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I think this movie does have some weak CGI at certain parts,
Yes.
which bothered me, especially when the budget's like 200 million, and I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man, how is that not? How do you not get that right? Weak villain.
Yeah.
Cassandra was definitely a weak villain. Like I know we said this before, but like I liked Cassandra,
Mm-hmm.
but her character was very one dimensional. But when she was on screen, like I feel like she did have good, like she was
did have
very
a good performance.
charismatic and was able to capture people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think after a while, the shock value of a lot of these cameos are gonna wear off.
Well, just like cameo.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
So and just
But I think
just like when people say they went back and watched No Way Home,
Yeah.
and they were like, not as good as I remember, not as good as the theater experience, which I feel like is gonna be the same thing for Deadpool and Wolverine.
I feel like you can still appreciate them though.
Yeah.
Because moving on to number 5, I do have Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
And I know you like this movie more than I did.
Yeah.
I think that just is telling of what I kind of think of the other X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But I got to see it a second time in IMAX. I didn't get to see it in IMAX the first time. And
Yeah.
I did have a better experience without everyone screaming and clapping in my ear.
Okay.
I was able to feel the emotional beat more of this movie. I think the saving graces are the performances, especially with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Mhm.
I think, anytime he's on screen, like he gives a hell of a performance.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. And I do agree that the cameos will definitely wear off in shock value,
Yeah.
obviously. But I think those cameos specifically, we can still appreciate, especially with the respect that like Gambit's getting now.
Yeah. Even the respect Blade's getting now.
Right.
That's cool.
The fight scenes I thought were great. Not the best CGI at points, but I did really enjoy. I especially enjoyed the Deadpool Wolverine fights.
Yeah.
Both of those fights I thought were fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, without everyone clapping and cheering in my ear and seeing it in theaters in IMAX, with Madonna's Like a Prayer going on, playing at the end over Deadpool and Wolverine coming together to save his universe.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't think the way that they did save the universe was that grand. Like they're just holding hands.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
But just having that song play over Wolverine and Deadpool holding hands together and like looking at each other, of them just knowing
Like this is it. They think this is it.
that this is it, but like that they're finally worth something as well.
Yeah.
Because that's something that they both had been searching for this whole time,
purpose.
was just to find their purpose and to be, meaningful, have it something meaningful in their life.
Yeah.
And them just looking at each other and having that conclusion and having that solidification of, them finding their purpose. I thought it was nice. I think it was just me being able to kind of feel the emotional touch of this movie more than my first viewing. So that's why I moved up. Honestly,
what would you give it for like a new ranking? Because you said
I still give it 3.5 stars.
So you still give it a 7?
Yeah.
Out of 10? Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of like if I were to make this list just from one viewing, I probably would have put X2 above it. But seeing it a second time, I just enjoyed it more. Yes, it's fan service, but don't we all want that sometimes? Also, costume design was great.
Oh, yeah.
Costume design was fantastic.
Really good.
What was your number 5?
X-Men First Class.
What?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
You told me you like First Class better than Days of Future Past. You're just trying to be objective here.
No, I thought a lot more.
Okay.
I thought a lot more.
Okay.
Like, I have seen Days of Future Past many times.
Okay.
And I think it was just a matter of, because to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I have ever sat down and thought through what happens in each of these movies, because I feel like a lot of times, like, I have a hard time remembering which movie these scenes come from.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like, I feel like they can blend together a lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So upon like sitting there and thinking like the progression, like going through the progression of each story, I do like X-Men First Class a lot, but we do spend like a lot of training time.
Mm-hmm. There's
like a lot of training time to build it up, which I don't have a problem with.
Right.
But I feel like we are stuck at this mansion for a long time.
Okay.
And I enjoy First Class a lot. Like, obviously, like you said, like, we're getting into the good movies.
Yeah.
But there are moments, like some serious heavy moments that happen in Days of Future Past, which is definitely why I would put it higher.
Okay.
So, but yeah, number 5, I got X-Men First Class.
You got First Class. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4.
And also, I think this is another one where like the villain isn't not a super strong villain. Like, he has a heavy impact on Magneto, and that connection there is like kind of what ups him like a little bit. But as far as like the character himself, it's like, I'm like, what's his goal here? World domination.
His end goal.
Yeah, it's like
his end goal for the world to nuke each other and then him take over.
Yeah,
as because the mutants survive it.
Yeah,
right.
I'm like, give me a different motive other than world domination. Like, I'm very sick of world domination as a motive.
I thought it was a good performance though by Kevin Bacon.
No, yeah, it wasn't a bad performance. No, but it was like just the character himself was one dimensional.
Moving on to number 4.
Yeah. Moving on to number 4.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go
All
first.
Right. Number 4, I have X-Men First Class.
Okay.
I really did enjoy First Class. This is definitely one that I hadn't seen many times. I think I'd only seen it maybe once before rewatching it recently. And I'm not even sure if I saw it all the way through the first time around. And one of the major reasons why this movie isn't higher on the list is, I think the tonal switch ups between scenes in this movie. Like, we can go from having an absolutely dark and fantastic scene with Magneto in that Argentina bar.
Yeah.
And then we have like this goofy, almost high school camp scenes with these new mutants.
Yeah.
Just, kind of shooting the shit with each other.
And that's a positive or a negative for
I think
you?
it's a negative.
It's a negative.
It's just like whiplash in tones. This movie has a lot of whiplash in tones for me, just from going from like getting those really dark and deep Magneto scenes to these, high school camp scenes. These campy scenes. I think that's a tonal issue for me.
Okay.
And the makeup on Beast I thought was terrible.
Oh, I hate it.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I just can't praise like Michael Fassbender's Magneto enough.
Yeah, dude. He's the fucking saving grace of every X-Men movie. Like, I swear, if they did not have Michael Fassbender as Magneto, I don't think people would care about X-Men as much at all. Especially the prequel stuff.
Yeah, just Magneto in general. Like, what a well-written character.
Dude, he's such a well-written character.
Yeah. So if you fuck that up, then you're already shooting yourself in the foot.
Bro, could you imagine if we ever get to meet Michael Fassbender?
Oh, God. I heard he's kind of a dick.
I don't know, but...
To be honest, if First Class was just a Magneto origin story, this might be number 2 on my list.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. Dude, honestly, it's so disappointing we never got a Magneto solo movie.
Oh my God.
Everybody would have watched that.
That's a character that deserves that.
Yeah.
Just as much as Logan.
Because he's such a complex character.
Yes. So, man, missed opportunity there, in my opinion. But I really did enjoy First Class. I think it just has its flaws that, bring it just outside the top 3.
Yeah. At number 4, I have X2.
Okay, that's what I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
X2, like I said earlier, I thought it did a great job of setting up for Last Stand, but kind of going off of what I already said, I thought Stryker was a great villain in this. I thought he offered a lot of like temptation for Wolverine, especially with him wanting to know so badly like what happened to him. But for Wolverine to just give that up anyway, he didn't care. Because he was like, it doesn't even matter. Like, this is my family now. So he like chose the X-Men. So I thought this was like a very defining moment for Wolverine, especially. Honestly, I think we see like a lot of character change and character growth in X2.
I think it's probably the best Nightcrawler that we get as well in terms of the live action X-Men movies.
I like this Nightcrawler a lot. I like him better than what we see in like the
First Class
era, I guess. Yeah. The First Class trilogy, whatever you want to call it.
Quadruplegy.
Yeah. So, and also, the Wolverine Lady Deathstrike fight, I thought that was cool. And I thought it was like what we saw in X-Men Origins, like how we saw how Wolverine's abilities from being tested on and stuff were being used to create new mutants. So, because that is what happens. Like, that's why he's a part of the Weapon X program. I think this was the first time we got to see those results before X-Men Origins. This was the first time we got to see somebody take Wolverine's abilities and put them into another mutant, which is what makes him so special.
Yeah.
Because he does have a very valuable ability being his regeneration.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Top 3?
This is where it got very tricky.
Yeah.
Well, not for the number 1 spot, but
right.
2 and 3. Bro, I feel like I could go back and forth so much on my 2 and 3. Like,
yeah,
I think it's just like a choice of
personal.
Like
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's how I feel like a lot of top 3 parts get. All right, let's go.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
Just let me.
No.
Just let me think for a second.
Top 3 X-Men movies. At number 3, what do you have?
I have Deadpool.
I have Deadpool as well.
Yeah. Like. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If this was a personal favorites list, like I can rewatch Deadpool all the time.
More than any other movie on this list?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Like I just think Deadpool is such a fun movie. It was so fresh when they first did it. And Ryan Reynolds was just born to play that character.
Yeah, he's got a mouth on him, all right.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. No, and I think even though Origins isn't a great movie, I think that did showcase that, this guy is Deadpool. He's got a mouth on him.
And my God, dude, the hoops that Ryan Reynolds had to jump through to get this fucking movie made.
Really?
Do you know like the story?
I don't know the details.
It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna tell you like I know the exact progression, but like ever since they did. So originally, I think actually X-Men Origins was supposed to be a Deadpool movie, but then they changed it and then it became X-Men Origins Wolverine. And then they were like, okay, but you can still play Deadpool the character.
Yeah.
Then he goes and plays the character and they fuck it up. And he's like, and he obviously, he wanted another shot at this. So I think he like got into talks like with Fox and trying to, or actually, no, I think it was a different studio that said they would do it, but it got canned. Then it went to Fox and they did test footage at some point, and they went to the Fox executives and they were like, nope, they don't want to do it. So it got leaked. Like everybody suspects Ryan Reynolds leaked this shit. Like 4 years after they did the test footage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like there was some time after, and so everybody suspects he did it. And the internet saw it. They went nuts. They were like, oh my God, we need this fucking movie right now. We need this. And
then
so that was finally when it got approved, and that's finally when he got to make the movie. And 2016, we get Deadpool.
Nah, it's a great time. Like you said, it was very fresh. I think the best song choices out of the Deadpool trilogy.
Great song
for
choices.
sure.
I'm gonna shoot, baby, shoot.
strongest story. It's a love story.
Yes.
It's a revenge story.
The simplest story.
Plain and simple.
The simplest story. And I honestly, like, people hate on a simple story, but I love it just as long as you can do it properly.
Well, especially when you have as many moving parts as a superhero movie does. You know what I mean?
No,
not
like,
to mention it's also an origin story as well.
Yeah.
Great action. Amazing suit. For first time bringing us a Deadpool suit, I thought it's one of the greatest superhero costumes that we've seen.
No, I think this was one of the best. This was one of the best attempts when like they created a comic book accurate suit right off the bat. Like it wasn't we did a intro movie with no suit and then like we're gonna work our way up to that. But no, I was like, we're giving you a fucking suit right off the bat, and it was perfect.
Yeah, it was very good.
Was perfect. Yep. Like I think it is on par with like as perfect as I see the Tobey Maguire suit in Spider-Man.
I could agree with that.
Like I think it is that good. And I love the Fox suit, and I love the one in Deadpool and Wolverine as well, but boy do I fucking love the Fox suit.
Because that is a hard pitch to sell to studios at the time, like a rated R Marvel movie, especially with like the wave that you saw what superhero movies were doing at the time.
Yeah.
The PG-13 movies was working. That was the formula. Not to mention it was a character that you butchered hard and origin. So you really had no idea what to expect from the fans until I guess you said that leak.
Yeah, dude, but it's so annoying though. It's like if you're scared to do a character,
and you're never going to do something great in the first place.
Fucking alter it. I don't know. It's like clearly Deadpool has had a following over the years and people have this picture of him in their head. Why are you going to mess with that picture? Like there's no point. If you do that, you're just going to like the loyal fans of Deadpool that would go see this movie if you try to do it a different way, you're just going to piss them off. Just like try to give them the best, most comic accurate version of this character that you can.
Yeah, and not the strongest villain in Francis Ajax.
But like I said, I think him and Ryan Reynolds have had a great rapport. And he served his, purpose of the story exactly as they needed him to.
And yeah, we obviously weren't used to the fourth wall breaking as well. So yeah, everything was just so fresh about the original Deadpool. It works really well. And I do think it is the strongest of the Deadpool trilogy.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. I think we're going to have the same top 3.
We're going to have the same top 3.
Number 2, Days of Future Past.
Yeah. So like I said, man, I definitely lost that draft that we did because I just haven't really gone through and like, like if I had gone through and ranked all these movies before we did that draft, I would be like, okay, I know what 1 is, I know what 2 is, like in my own head.
I had Logan and Days of Future Past in that draft.
No, and that was a mistake. Like I should have taken Days of Future Past because I do have it at 2 on my list, and because there are just so many good qualities about this movie. Like there's so many different things that you could have liked out of this movie. For one, getting to see the Sentinels of the Future, I thought those fight scenes were really cool.
And that's like a huge storyline within the X-Men.
Huge storyline. We get to see our first live action Bishop. Fucking loved that we got to see him.
That's right.
I'm a big Bishop fan. We have more great performances from Michael Fassbender. Like when they were in the plane and he was arguing with Charles. He was like, "Where were you, Charles?" Like, I love that scene. Not to mention him moving an entire baseball stadium in the finale of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, my God. And
Magneto's Days of Future Past suit is easily the best Magneto suit in the whole X-Men franchise and one of the best suits in general.
Yeah.
His Days of Future Past suit is so crisp.
It's great. This is the first time we saw Quicksilver and his abilities and, the time in a bottle scene. Like, there's just so many great qualities about this movie. So many great action scenes, so many great emotional performances.
I think what separates Days of Future Past from First Class is the third act. I think Days of Future Past has the better third act.
Agreed.
Which puts it ahead of First Class. And yeah, what I do like about First Class and Days of Future Past is how they tie in the story to like the political era of that time, presidency and all that stuff. I mean, that's a huge theme within all the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But I just love the way how they work that in there. And Very cohesive story.
I mean, it's a little rip off of Terminator, but we're not going to talk about that. I mean, like it's essentially the plot, but it is a great movie.
Yeah.
I think they do it very tastefully.
And yeah, we do sort of get like a different Wolverine out of this because he doesn't have his adamantium claws yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of has to rework like his ways of fighting. And Days of Future Past is definitely the most yoked Hugh Jackman is in this franchise. Not the most ripped. That would be the Wolverine, but I think he is the biggest in Days of Future Past.
I still felt so bad for him though when he was fighting Magneto at the end, and I'm like, he doesn't have metal in his bones anymore. He can fuck you up. Nah, let's just put some metal in you and throw you in the freaking ocean. Oh, I felt so bad.
Just drowning in the river, bro.
I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
And yeah, honestly though,
really,
but also the satisfying conclusion. I was like, all right, we finally got like a happy ending for our beloved X-Men. I think, the school was still up. Jean was alive. Cyclops was alive. Like everybody was back, and what he did worked, and he fixed the timeline.
What I like too is they really showed the importance of Mystique.
Yeah,
you kind of get a sense of that in the original trilogy, but like
she does have a very unique power set.
The whole Sentinel project is based off of her powers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you see the importance of Mystique a lot in this movie.
Yeah. And I thought Jennifer Lawrence did a great job at taking up that mantle. She'd taken it up before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think she plays a great Mystique.
Not to mention a fantastic scene between young Professor X and old Professor X. We get James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart sharing the screen together.
Yeah.
So I feel like Days of Future Past has a lot for the original X-Men movie fans and the new X-Men movie fans to come together and just really enjoy Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Number 1.
It's Logan.
Logan, bro.
It's Logan. Come on. Like, it's not anything else.
Y'all should expect this.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan's number 1 best X-Men movie.
I numbered my paper 1 through 14 just to make sure I had every single movie listed on here. And I wrote Logan at the top, and I was like, okay, that number can just stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
What a fantastic conclusion. It still is.
It is a conclusion for the Fox universe Wolverine.
Yeah. It's such an emotional conclusion.
Yeah.
That, man, we finally got a rated R Wolverine movie.
About time.
Yeah. And just the emotional chord it struck with him and X-23 at the very end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And I love like this Western vibe from the movie. It fits so beautifully.
Between the landscape, between the music, it had a very Western feel to it.
And the action scenes, especially like the one at the end where he juiced himself up and he was ready to go. Oh my God.
Honestly, I don't really know what to say about this movie because there's not much to complain about this movie.
There is nothing to complain about.
God, seeing 2 Wolverines go at it was something else.
Oh my God.
To see like an older Professor X and just how dangerous his powers really are if he doesn't have a grasp on them.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It is nuts. I mean, we did see how powerful he can be.
Yeah.
When he in X2, like he literally had the potential to kill every person on the planet.
But just seeing those scenes in Logan was pretty intense.
Yeah. And oh my God, them taking full advantage of that rated R rating, it was great. Like especially oh my God, like when they were at the hotel and Charles was having his his seizure.
Yeah.
And he's just before he gets to Charles, he's just going to all the bad guys that were there to get him and just right in the brain.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I just like was imagining the pain those guys were in.
Oh, the music was really good. I think again the villain wasn't a strong suit.
No,
I do,
but I mean, I feel like it. Honestly, I don't think there is really like a super memorable villain in these movies other than Magneto when he plays our antagonist role.
Right.
But I don't think you really like need to because you just need something in the way of Wolverine and then just focus on him.
I do like Boyd Holbrook as Pierce, the guy who initiates like the whole villain storyline. He's with the robot hand. Yeah.
Robot hand. Yeah. I liked the guy who couldn't go in the sun. What was his name?
Caliban.
Yeah. No, I liked him a lot too.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good characters in this movie.
And he was like barely in it.
He was like halfway.
Yeah, he was like
through
just in the beginning. Before he had to move with Professor X.
No, I think it was just like, yes, it's not the first Wolverine movie that we got, but it did feel very refreshing to see just how much care went into this movie.
Yeah,
and the respect that it showed to Hugh Jackman and all of his years as Wolverine. I think there was just a lot of heart that went into Logan that really shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like honestly, as much as he tries to be like this hard character who doesn't care about anything, that's never been the case.
Like she always said, you've always been the wrong guy, but you always show up when it matters.
Yeah.
And what a bang to go out with for a rated R Wolverine movie with Logan.
And him and Daphne Keene's dynamic was great too.
It was great. They were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
That was great too.
They were funny together.
That was one of the best kid performances in the last 10 years.
Which is why I will never like accept when there's bad child acting, because I know good child acting exists. There's some great child acting.
She was really good.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Logan at number 1. What else would you expect from this list? I think those are solid rankings there.
I think, yeah. Honestly,
I feel good about my ranking.
A lot of our shit was just flipped. It's like matter of preference.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, not a bad ranking on either side.
Nope. So let's refresh again. I'll list off mine real quick, and then you list off yours. So in last place, I had Dark Phoenix, 13, The New Mutants, 12, X-Men Apocalypse, 11, X-Men Last Stand, 10, X-Men Origins Wolverine, 9, X-Men, 8, The Wolverine, 7, Deadpool 2, 6, X2, 5, Deadpool and Wolverine, 4, First Class, 3, Deadpool, 2, Days of Future Past, and 1, Logan.
All right, and for me, at number 14, I had The New Mutants, number 13, X-Men The Dark Phoenix, 12, X-Men The Last Stand, 11, X-Men Apocalypse, number 10, X-Men Origins Wolverine, number 9, The Wolverine, number 8, The Original X-Men, number 7, Deadpool 2, 6, Deadpool and Wolverine, 5, X-Men First Class, 4, X2, 3, Deadpool, 2, X-Men Days of Future Past, and at number 1, of course, is Logan.
Nice. I think those were solid there. The X-Men franchise in general, I feel like had a lot of ups and downs, so I feel like we did our best here.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, like, I'd say out of all this, there's probably like 3 bad movies.
Like 3 terrible movies.
Yeah.
There you have it. All right, to end off the episode, we have our last segment of the day. We're going to do a new segment, take a trip down memory lane called Blake's Takes. So Garrett, what do you want me to give my take on today?
I want you to give your take on Nick Cage.
On Nick Cage?
Is he a good actor? This is probably one of the most controversial opinions or controversial topics. Is Nick Cage good?
Yes, he's a good actor.
Is he?
Yes, he is. I think it's an acquired performance.
Okay.
Nick Cage is not an actor for everyone, and I can understand that. But how many people can give a performance like Nick Cage? Not a lot.
Yeah,
not a lot. I don't know. Is he the best in everything? No, but is any actor? Very few.
Very few.
Very few.
Agreed. But I will say this: after seeing Longlegs, this is so weird because it's like I thought he did give a good performance in Longlegs. But at the same time, it's like...
it's Nick Cage.
I know it's Nick Cage, so it takes me out of it. Okay. It's like, if I'm going to watch Nick Cage in something, he has to look like Nick Cage.
Or maybe in Longlegs, since he did look different, if he gave a very opposite performance that he usually would...
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't see Nick Cage as much as Nick Cage.
Or change his voice a little bit. It's because it's the voice that's just a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway.
I think he is a good actor. I think he can have good rapport with people he's on screen with. I like the banter that he has at points. I find his humor amusing. I think I'm mostly thinking of National Treasure and shit. I love National Treasure. So, but no, I think he's a good actor.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Duck Takes. Thank you for listening to our X-Men franchise ranking. Let us know your franchise ranking in the comments. Thank you to everyone for making it this far. Please give us a rating on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this episode. And if you'd like more episodes of Duck Takes, don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. Give us a follow on all of our social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can find all of these in our link tree in any one of our bios. And what are we doing next, Garrett?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We need to review The Boys is what we need to do.
Oh, fuck. We do got to do
Yeah.
that.
So maybe we should do that next.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So maybe review on The Boys next. I know y'all been waiting for that. But we'll see you next time on Duck Takes.
Later, guys.